In the summer of 2026, a warning passed quietly between two governments. Its subject was the life of the President of the United States. Israel told Washington that Iran had drawn up a fresh plan to kill Donald Trump, but when American officials went looking for the proof, they couldn't find it themselves. This is the story of a threat that is impossible to ignore and difficult to confirm. No bounty. How a decades-old grievance became a price on a president's head. Early July 2026. According to reporting first published by CNN and later matched by outlets in the United States and Israel, Israeli intelligence handed Washington something specific. Not a vague rumor, but an actual plot to assassinate the president. Trump's reaction was blunt. They want to take out the US leader, me, he said. I'm on every single one of their lists. But here's the detail that most headlines left out. Two sources familiar with the matter told CNN that the United States had not verified the intelligence on its own and had not been tracking this particular plot before Israel raised it. And some American officials went further. Privately, they wondered whether the warning was also meant to do something else, to push a wavering president toward deeper military action against Iran. So from the very first day, this story carried two questions at once. Is the threat real? And who benefits from us believing it? To answer either, we have to go back. January 3, 2020. Baghdad. A U.S. drone strike, ordered by President Trump, killed General Qassem Soleimani, the commander of Iran's Quds Force and one of the most powerful men in the Islamic Republic. For Washington, he was the architect of attacks across the region. For Tehran, he was a national hero, and his death demanded revenge. That word, revenge, is the engine behind everything that follows. Nearly every threat against Donald Trump since has been justified, explicitly, as a debt owed for Soleimani. For years, it stayed mostly rhetorical. Chants at funerals, warnings from clerics. Then, in November 2024, it became a courtroom document. The U.S. Justice Department unsealed murder-for-hire charges. Prosecutors alleged that an officer of Iran's Revolutionary Guard had tasked a man named Farhad Shakari, an Afghan citizen believed to be inside Iran, with drawing up a plan to kill Trump within 7 days before the 2024 election. Shakari, prosecutors said, never delivered the plan in time. He remains at large. Now, these are charges, not a conviction. The plot's full reality has never been tested at trial, but the case marked a turning point. The threat was no longer only words. It was, in the government's account, an operation. By 2025 and 2026, the threats stopped hiding. In July 2025, an Iranian movement calling itself the Blood Covenant claimed to have crowdfunded more than $40 million. A reward, it said, for anyone who killed Donald Trump, blessed by religious edicts. That figure has never been independently verified. But the campaign was real, and it was public. Then it moved from the street into the state. In May 2026, Iran's parliament took up a bill. Championed by Ebrahim Azizi, the head of its National Security Committee, it would oblige the Iranian government to pay 50 million euros to, and these are the bill's words, any natural or legal person who kills the President of the United States. A bounty written into proposed law and framed as a religious duty. And on June 26, 2026, at a pro-government rally, a member of Iran's Supreme Council of the Cultural Revolution, Hassan Rahim-Perezgadi, said it out loud. Trump says every few weeks that I killed Qassem Soleimani, he declared. We can also say we will assassinate you, and we can do it. He called for a bounty of several $1 million, and he urged Iran-aligned groups inside the United States to prepare. This is the pattern that makes the July warning so hard to dismiss. The intent isn't hidden. It is announced on stages and in legislation. And yet, Iran's official position has never wavered. The state, it insists, is not trying to assassinate anyone. When the July 2026 reports broke, Iran's foreign minister denied them outright. It echoed what Tehran said in 2024 when its foreign minister Abbas Araghchi dismissed an earlier plot as, quote, a new scenario fabricated. Iran's president told American television his country had never attempted to kill Trump, and we never will. A spokesman called the accusations a repulsive Israeli effort to sabotage any thaw between Washington and Tehran. So Iran draws a line. Bounties voted on by its parliament, it argues, are the passions of a wounded nation, not a covert assassination program run by the state. Critics call that a distinction without a difference. When your legislature offers 50 million euros for a killing, does it matter whether an intelligence officer signs the order? But the doubt cuts in more than one direction, because the specific July plot, the one that started this story, came from an ally, arrived unverified, and landed at the exact moment Israel wanted the United States to strike harder at Iran. Intelligence delivered mid-war by party with a stake in the war demands a careful eye. That is not cynicism. It is the job. To understand the timing, you have to see the fire it landed in. In June 2025, Israel and Iran fought a 12-day war. American B-2 bombers struck Iran's nuclear sites at Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan with 30,000-pound bunker busters. A ceasefire held, barely. And then, in 2026, it broke. By that summer, the two sides were trading their heaviest blows in months, and Washington declared the ceasefire over. This is the world into which a warning about the president's life arrived. Not a quiet year. A lawyer. In that context, every piece of intelligence becomes a lever. A real threat can be true and still be used. Both can happen at once. And that is the uncomfortable center of this entire story. So strip away the headlines, and here is what stands. It is a fact that Iran has spent 5 years promising revenge for Soleimani. It is a fact that its parliament has debated a bounty, and that its officials have called for one from public stages. It is a documented allegation in a U.S. courtroom that at least one operative was tasked to plan Trump's death. That is a real, sustained pattern of intent. It is not invented. But it is also true that the specific new plot of July 2026 remains unverified by the United States. Surfaced by an ally, in the middle of a conflict that ally wanted to widen. A credible pattern, an unconfirmed plot. Both, at the same time. The danger to Donald Trump appears to be genuine and enduring. The certainty that his enemies, and even his allies, project around it, is something we should hold more loosely. Because in war, the most powerful weapon is often not a missile. It's a story you can't quite prove.